President of the University.
By virtue of authority delegated to me, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Gregory Edward Mantle. Michael David Martin.
You are the last centennial class of the University of Chicago. I suppose you're also the first class of the second century of the University of Chicago, because the first degrees ever to be awarded at this university were awarded 100 years ago this June, when 15 students, 3 of them women, received the bachelor's degree at the convocation of that month. They had a year at the new University of Chicago. They had paid their tuition, otherwise, of course, they could not have graduated, and their library fines. Their tuition was $25 a quarter. They also had a library fee of $2.50 a quarter, and then there was an incidental fee of $2.50, which presumably entitled them to the use of any other facilities of the university, but since there were none, I'm not quite sure what the $2.50 at that time covered. There was a $10 graduation fee, so you can tell it was quite an expensive proposition to graduate. And their graduation took place downtown because there was no auditorium on campus. There was no Rockefeller Chapel. Don't let anyone fool you that the real world has not to do with books and ideas and problems, but only with meeting payrolls. The real world has to do with how well one thinks. Robert Frost once said that education doesn't change life much. It just lifts trouble to a higher plane of regard. And that, too, is the privilege that comes to you with your degree, that of always lifting trouble to a higher plane of regard. But there's another philosopher who put it really more simply, and who I think made the final statement about this real world and academic world question, and that was Pete Seeger. He said, "Do you know the difference between education and experience? Education is when you read the fine print. Experience is what happens when you don't."